Hello and welcome to a very interesting video we have for you today, which is this one's very much about sciatica pain, from lower back. Remembering not to confuse this with piriformis syndrome. Piriformis syndrome and sciatica are two different things. They easily get confused. So this one's more like coming from like lower back problems, disc bulge, and where the nerve root is being sort of compressed and impinged and restricted. So I learnt this from reading a book and doing some stuff with Stuart McGill, and I'll show you in a second his book that I highly encourage you to read. If you're someone with sciatica now, you'll find it a great book to read. It's quite difficult to read if you're not educated in the exercise world, but I'm going to simplify things for you, and I'm going to explain to you how we've used it very effectively in our programs with many of our clients with back pain. So moving on, nerve flossing has sort of come about from people realising the excessive tension in the nerves is cause of sciatica. So if the nerve root is impinged and it cannot slide, it will increase in more tension. So instead of moving, it gets stretched, and the further stretching creates more tension, which creates more pain. So the scientists have sort of suggested the nerves, that if they have the ability to create their own pathway, as long as they can move, right? So when you know that, that's when you're trying to sort of find out a way, how do we restrict, get it moving. So stretching and exercising they're all the right things to do, but sometimes the nerve's just so irritated it restricts you, even though the exercises are the right thing to do, but they just can't be done right because the nerve is so angry. It's probably the easiest way to describe it. So you want to try and get the nerve so it's not irritated, so then you can do the things that will actually, a bit like a chiropractor who would like adjust you, but your muscles and that are not strong enough to hold that adjustment, so they just go back to the way they were. So we've got to try and find a way to do it. So the idea of flossing comes about as coming from like trying to make the nerve slide better. All right. So basically what you do is you try to pull it from one end, a bit like dental flossing. That's why it's got the name flossing. So you're pulling it from one end, then pulling it from the other, and the idea is that it starts to move a bit more freely, and then it allows you to do the exercise you want to do to really correct the whole entire process. They become more effective. All right, so you can't just rely on this, by the way, to address your problems. This has got to be done in conjunction with exercises and stretches. All right, and this is the book that I would highly encourage you to read. And Stuart McGill goes into a lot more detail about how to do that, and you'll get a lot from it if you're a person with this condition right now. So, okay, so how do we do it? So I'm going to quickly show the video. Before I do that, here's some quick tips just to remember. So always do this in a really good posture. Don't do it sitting in a hunched over posture. And also find a position where you find relief. So if you're a person who's had a disc bulge, lying on your stomach usually settles that down quite well. So I would encourage you to do that so you sort of can try this out without any irritation being present at the time. Always do it slowly and really well coordinated. Don't rush it and make it jerky. All right, make it very smooth, and it works more effectively. The amount you do, it varies. Some people do a lot, some people do a little bit, but I always start out with a little bit and see how it goes, because some people can, in the early stages, irritate them more than help them. So just start off with a little bit, see how it goes. If it feels good, start doing more, and try and do it throughout the day. And eventually, over time, it starts to really help you, and then your other exercises become much more effective at working. So, okay, let's have a look at how to do it.
What Nathan's going to do, he's going to sit up in a good posture. He's going to tilt his head forward so he's going to do like his chin comes to his chest and his knee comes up at the same time. And then what he's going to do simultaneously is he's going to tilt his head back and extend his knee. And basically what happens is when he does that, he just keeps moving it. It's like dental floss for your teeth, but it's flossing for the nerve where the piriformis is trapping it. This is like running the nerve up and down through where it might be getting trapped. Quite often for sciatica, it's usually in the back of the neck. Piriformis will touch on it, and that's when you get all your excruciating pain. This is one way to sort of help loosen it up, and it could help you to significantly reduce some of your symptoms that you may have, to then help you move better when we do the more complex standing up movements. All right, so that's nerve flossing.